everyone. Happy Friday. How is everyone doing? I'm going to put up, because I can't see myself very well. So I'm going to put, you guys see me? Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm showing you guys how to make my newest recipe, which is the breakfast hash recipe. I just released this recipe last week. Hi Danielle, hi Angela. Thank you for watching. Say a big hello in the comment section if you're watching here live. So I just released this breakfast recipe last week because I've been finding a lot of like the breakfast recipes that I do. They're mostly like very sweet, and I know a lot of you like some savory breakfast options. So this is why I wanted to show you guys how I am doing that. Hi, Danielle. So this is really, really easy. Really easy, really quick to put together. So prior to coming on here live, like chopping all the stuff that I needed ahead of time, literally took me 10 minutes. Now we are going to assemble everything. I made it for a live for once. Yes, thank you, Angela. So, for this recipe, we're using potatoes. I used about 892 grams of Yukon Gold potatoes. What I did is I basically shredded the potatoes. Now, if you are doing this first, I would suggest that you actually let this sit in an ice cold bath. Like after you shred it, put it in the cold bath, because we all know potatoes will go brown. So, or we don't know. But anyways, the potatoes will go brown. So basically, to prevent them from going brown, we want to soak them in cold water. And so I shredded this first. I soaked them in cold water while I shredded everything else so that this would not go brown. So this is a super high protein packed recipe. So for those of you that are watching, that are our clients, we are subbing your oats for potatoes. We are using the egg whites that's in your meal plan. We are substituting your egg from breakfast for ham. And then we are subbing your fat for breakfast for cheddar cheese. Now, the way that I did this recipe, this is for 4 servings, 4 breakfast servings. So the Yukon Gold potatoes are actually a very high volume food. So I weighed this out raw first. So I weighed it out raw. Then I peeled them, I peeled them first, then I weighed them out raw, then I shredded them, and that gave me 892 grams, okay? So now, the first thing that I'm gonna do is we are going to add actually 2 teaspoons of avocado oil. So basically what I did is for the fat, I used 1, because this is for 4 servings. 1 of the servings of fats is coming from oil, so that equaled for me 2 teaspoons of avocado oil. So I'm gonna mix that in right now, 2 teaspoons of avocado oil, and then I am going to toss that first. Okay, so I'm gonna toss the potatoes with the avocado oil. Okay, I'm gonna do that first. Toss the potatoes. Has anybody made this recipe yet? No, I know Angela, you asked for this recipe, so I sent that off to you. So I'm tossing that first. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we are going to add 24 egg whites. 6 times 4 is 24. This recipe is for 24 servings. So that I think I calculated was about 3 cups of egg whites. We know that a quarter cup is 2 egg whites. And so when I was calculating this, this is going to be about 3 cups for 24 egg whites. I think my math is correct on that. So I'm dumping 2 cups in here. Now I'm going to dump another cup in here. And this is super easy, and it's a great savory breakfast, okay? So we've got 24 egg whites in here. Egg whites are really high in protein, and it has no fat in it. So you can't really go wrong with it. So I've added the egg whites in here. The next thing that I'm going to be adding is ham. So when we're looking for ham, so when I go out to the store, this is like the Schneider's one. I think it's just original old-fashioned ham. When I am looking at the label, what I'm looking for is a ham that's high in protein, low in fat. So I think this one was 2.5 or 3 grams of fat and 17 grams of protein per serving. Excellent source of protein. So basically I subbed the 1 egg white for ham, and then I'm gonna multiply that by 4. So that gave me about 240 grams of ham. So I'm gonna add the ham in here. Another source of like pea meal bacon is also really high in protein, very low in fat. So when I'm looking for protein sources, when I'm shopping for ham, that is what I'm looking for on the label, is that it's the one that is lower in fat, but very high in protein. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to add is some peppers. So it's maybe about a cup of diced red pepper. I am actually gonna add mushrooms. You can really add whatever you want. If you wanna do spinach in here, you can add that as well too. And then I'm adding probably about almost 2 cups of green onion. I like green onion. So I'm mixing that all together in the bowl. Mixing it all together so like the egg whites are coating everything really, really nicely. And it's super delicious. Like my husband loves this, my kids love this. Like this is such a great way to start your morning. Okay, so in terms of seasoning, we're almost done. In terms of seasoning, you could put whatever you want on it, garlic powder, salt. I'm gonna actually use this roasted garlic and pepper seasoning. Really, honestly, guys, be creative, whatever you guys wanna do. And I like a lot of seasoning. I like a lot of flavor. So I'm gonna put a lot in here. So I'm mixing this all around, putting the seasoning in there. But you know, if you guys can think of something else that might taste a little bit better, let me know. Pop it in the comments section. Maybe what is your favorite seasoning that you like to use? All right, so now we're pretty much done. Tossing this. Do you see how easy this is, ladies? Do you see how easy this is? This is super, super easy. So now the next thing that I'm gonna do is I've got my casserole dish over here, and I grabbed some parchment paper. So a little trick with the parchment paper is roll it up into a ball, because I find it's like easier to work with afterwards in terms of laying it out and making sure that it's like molded the way that you want to. So I'm gonna put that in there, and basically I'm gonna pour it in here. I just find it gets very sticky, and the last time I made this, I did not want to spend 10 minutes scrubbing the pan. So that's why I'm like, this time I am gonna do this with parchment paper. I'm gonna work smarter this time, not harder. It's all about that. So what I'm gonna do is basically, I'm gonna cook this in the oven. Now, depending on your oven, I'm gonna cook this covered actually first. I have done it uncovered, but I'm gonna do it covered first, and for about half an hour. And then I am going to uncover it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to top it off with cheddar cheese at the end of it. So you see, can you guys see me doing this? So basically, all done here. I'm going to cover it with tin foil. I'm going to pop it in the oven at 400 for half an hour. What is that? I love Herbanaire. It's an organic herb sea salt. Oh, okay. I've never had that one before. Okay, thanks for sharing, Danielle. So basically, now I'm going to cover this. I'm going to put this in the oven, and then the last 15 minutes, I'm going to pour this delicious cheddar cheese. So this is about 60 grams of cheddar cheese. I'm going to sprinkle that on top so that it melts and it gets kind of really nice and crispy on the top. And that's it. I'm going to divide this up into 4 servings, and that is my breakfast, okay? We've got the protein coming from the egg whites. We have protein coming from the ham. Super protein-packed meal. You've got potatoes in there, super delicious. Lots of nutrients coming from a wide variety of different vegetables, and also the potatoes as well too. Which brings me to the point, like, I was speaking to someone just the other day, and a lot of times people are doing these diets where you can't have potatoes, you can't have sweet potatoes, you can't have regular potatoes, you can't have any carbs, cutting out fruit, a lot of these other things as well too. And ladies, I just think it's crazy to do something like that. Doing these types of restrictive diets, like most of the time, actually, I'm going to say like 99% of the time, women are gaining the weight back afterwards because it's so restrictive and you're not really learning how to eat everything. What we teach our clients at the end of the day is how to eat everything. Our clients eat potatoes, they eat rice, they eat bread, they eat everything because that is sustainable. It's about the habits that you build. Okay, so whatever way that you choose to go into your fat loss journey, if you are choosing something that you cannot see yourself doing for the rest of your life, then stop it. Don't do it. And a lot of times, they'll say, well, I'm going to go back to like cutting out carbs because it worked for me before. And so my question always is, okay, if did you gain the weight back afterwards? And if their answer was yes, then I want to make, I pose the question, did it actually work for you? If you lost the weight and gained it back afterwards, then it didn't actually work for you. And there's like, well, no, the reason why that happened is because I went on vacation, it was my kid's birthday, and then I didn't, and then I totally fell off track, or maybe they're doing a no carb diet and they showed up at a birthday party and they had carbs. And so my question is, okay, so I pose this question as well too. If you are doing something that does not take into account all of life's events, like birthday parties and vacations and going out on, learning how to really navigate all of that, then what's the point? Because you're not really building up on those habits that are going to make things really sustainable for you at the end of the day. And that's what we work on with our clients. Our clients that finish all 3 phases of our program and graduate from our program, we work with them on building lifestyle habits so that they know how to do this forever, so that they know how to eat all foods at the end of the day. They understand what foods are going to help them reach their goals, but they're not being deprived of eating a piece of cake at a birthday party. We teach them how to navigate through all of that. We actually encourage our clients 80% whole foods, 20% non-whole foods, so that they learn something that is really manageable and sustainable, so that it's not super restrictive. Because what ends up happening is that you end up binging, and it's due to the restriction that ends up binging. So I wanted to talk about that because I talk to a lot of you in the community, and when I'm like, okay, so what's your nutrition plan? What do you plan on doing? Well, I'm thinking I'm going to go back to keto, or I think I'm going to go back to cutting carbs. And when I ask them if they maintain the weight, did they actually lose the weight and keep it off? The answer is no. So honestly, it did not work. If you lost the weight if you lost weight and you gained it back, that strategy did not work for you. Okay, you have to take into account a plan that takes into consideration all of life's, all of life's turns, all of life's things that happen, like birthday parties and vacations and date nights and going out to dinner with your friends. Okay, these are really important things. And when we develop these relationships with food that is super restrictive, it makes maintaining what you did very, very hard. And that is why most of the time people are gaining the weight back afterwards, is because they like potatoes, they like bread, they like things like that, and they want to know how to eat that. So just keep that in mind. When you are selecting a diet plan, really you want to do something that really takes into account all of life's events and social events, and really learning how to navigate through all of that. Okay, so I hope that really makes sense to you. So there it is, ladies. This is super quick and easy. We got this done 15 minutes, not even, because I spent 5 minutes talking there at the end. So I'm going to pop this in the oven, and you know what? You can also have this for lunch if you want. Sometimes I have this for lunch. Really great breakfast if you want a savory option, And so I'm gonna bake that in the oven, half an hour at 400 covered, uncover it, top it with some cheddar cheese, and my breakfast is done. Got 4 servings here. Now you could make this for 6 servings if you wanted to. You'll just have to modify your portions amounts to make 6 servings. And then that way you've got everything ready to go for the whole week. All right, ladies, thanks so much for joining me today. Do any of you guys have any questions? I know I see a lot of you joining me here right now. Hi, Shannon, thanks for joining. Yeah, does anybody else have any questions about it? I did post this recipe. I will post it in the Facebook group. I did post it on my Facebook personal page and also on my Instagram if you follow me there, but I will also post it in the Facebook group as well too. All right, ladies, have a good one. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.